Hi guys, in this video, we're going to talk about chapter 1 lecture. Okay, so let's get started. Now, chapter 1 is a very short chapter, it's mostly definitions. So if you guys read through them, you shouldn't have any problem with it. So chapter 1, we're going to talk about the 10 principles of economics. So first, know what's economics. The thing with economic is that in our society and in any society, we have something called unlimited desire. That we always want more stuff. You know, you want more cars, better cars, bigger houses. We want more stuff. Everybody want more stuff. But the problem is that do we have enough resource to give everybody the more stuff? So every single society is facing this problem of called scarcity. That every single resource we have, they're all scarce. So resources scarce, and scarcity means the limited nature of society's resource. And the economics is the study of how society manage our scarce resource. And it depends on different type of government structure, different societies manage our scarce resource differently. So if you look at our US economy, we have the supply demand. We have the market economy. This is where the buyers, the sellers come together. We interact, and then we determine what the price is, and we determine how much we sell. And that's called the market economy. Now, on the other extreme, you have countries like North Korea, Cuba, Myanmar. Their society is called a communist society, and their economy is called a centrally planned economy. So which means instead of having the buyer and seller together decide what to produce and how much to sell each good for, the government by itself will determine how much to produce and what the price for each good is. So if you look at countries like North Korea or the old Soviet Russia in the 1980s, 1970s, it's the government decide what type of good to produce, what type of good to how do they produce it, how many do they produce, and once it's produced, who do they give it to? So these 4 questions was all answered by the government. So that economy is called a centrally planned economy. Now, for the other one, for our US economy, and then the government, the market economy, that our society, this, what do we produce? How do we produce them? How many do we produce? Who do we give it to? Is decided between buyer and sellers. It's within the marketplace. So therefore, it's called the market economy. Okay. All right, talk about this. All right, so let's talk about this principle. So the first principle is that people face trade-off. That doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter how you do it, that you have a choice. So even right now, you guys watching this video on YouTube, you have a choice. You can either watch my video or you can watch a cat video. So when you're watching my video, you cannot watch cat videos anymore. Therefore, that's a trade-off. So which means you're giving up your time of watching cat video to watch my video. So every single individual or every single individual in the economy, we all face the trade-offs. And then number 2 principle is that the cost of something is what you give up for. So there is no free lunch. But for everything we do, there's always a cost for it. So for this cost, that we call this opportunity cost. So it's whatever you must give up to obtain something, it's called opportunity cost. Now, let's suppose that there is a free lunch. Just suppose. Okay, so suppose today for lunch, if you guys come with me, I pay for your lunch. We're gonna go to where do we go? Okay, there's a Chinese buffet I used to go all the time. It's on 59 past Bellway, China Bear. I always go to China Bear. So let's suppose today for lunch, we go to China Bear and I pay for it. So the question is, what is your cost? So you might be thinking, you might need to drive over there. So the cost of gasoline, well, don't worry about it. I drive you. So everybody come with me. I take my car. We can all fit into my little Prius and then we go to China Bear. Okay, so you don't pay for gas anymore. Then you probably have to pay for your time. Time is everything, right? So whatever you do, you got to pay for time. But don't forget, you're also paying this with your opportunities. So if you come to lunch with me, you cannot go to work anymore. You come to lunch with me, you cannot go to class anymore. You come to lunch with me, you cannot play games anymore. So all those opportunities you give up when you come to lunch with me, we call those the opportunity cost. So which means that there is no free lunch. So even though it sounds like free lunch, you don't pay anything in monetary value, but still paying it with your time and the opportunity you must give up. So for everything we do, there is opportunity cost. Okay. All right, number 3 is that people think at the margin. Now, this margin means that when we consuming, when we buy stuff, we're comparing our marginal benefit and marginal cost. So whenever your marginal benefit is more than marginal cost, you buy this good. But if your marginal benefit is less than marginal cost, you don't buy this good anymore. Now, also in economics, we're making a very big assumption. We're assuming all the consumers, all the individuals, every participant in the economy, we're all rational people. That means when you make a decision, you base those decisions on rational reasoning. So now the opposite of rational, well, you might think, oh, it's irrational. I don't call it irrational. The opposite of rational is emotional. Okay, so now again, this is a big assumption. We're assuming every single individual is rational. We're never emotional, and that's not right because consumers, we very often we're emotional, so we can be irrational sometimes. But at least for this class, we're assuming that every single consumer, we're all very rational people. And then also for this class, from this point on, guys, I want you to keep your thinking process very simple. Don't think too much, and I want you to think within the box. And right now, the box for you is a very small box, so do not think outside the box. So what that means whenever you think about a problem, think about what are the changes that's provided to you. So suppose I ask you if the price for gasoline goes down by $10, I mean goes down by $1 per gallon, would you buy more gasoline? Then all you think about is that do you buy gasoline at this price level? Don't think about anything else. Don't think about, oh, maybe next week is school is off. I need to go to work. I don't go to school anymore. Or next week, I want to stay home more often. I don't need that much gas anymore. Well, don't think like that. Keep everything else all constant. Only believe that only think about the changes that's provided to you. So think within the box and use rational thinkings. Okay, and then again, compare your marginal benefit, marginal cost. If your marginal benefit is higher, you buy this good. If your marginal cost is higher, you don't buy this good anymore. And then this is how you guys can relate to this little margin cost, margin benefit. If you think about it, I mean, like your family or any of your friends' family, does any like one person, not a family, not a household, but one person have 2 of the same game console? I'm talking about does any one, not the entire household, but does any one person have 2 PS4 or has 2 Xbox One or Xbox 360? They might have different consoles, but nobody have 2 of the same console. Now the reason why that is because we don't need 2 of the same console. So when you compare this marginal benefit, marginal cost, so let's say PS4. So if you buy a PS4 today, it will cost you what, $300. So for your first PS4, your marginal benefit is very high. That's because you can play game on this thing. You like PS4, so you buy your first PS4. Then your marginal benefit is more than the $300 cost to buy the PS4. But for the second PS4, you already have a PS4, so the marginal benefit for the second one is actually very low now. Therefore, you compare your very low marginal benefit and your marginal cost still at $300, then you're thinking, that's too expensive. I mean, even though it's the same price, but I don't need a second PS4 anymore. So at a lower marginal benefit and your marginal cost is higher now, you don't buy the second PS4 anymore. Okay, so for all the consumers, we're comparing our marginal benefit, marginal cost. If your marginal benefit is higher, you buy this good. If your marginal cost is higher, you don't buy this good anymore. And then another way guys can think about it, for anybody here, if you drink your Monsters, your Red Bulls, I mean, those are addiction. Okay, if you ask anybody who drink this on a daily basis, that's addiction. Now imagine you go to a store and the store says, if you drink 10 cans of Red Bull, your 11 will be free. I mean, would you do that? So you're thinking, right? So let's start seeing this marginal benefit, marginal cost process. So at the first Red Bull, you're very thirsty, and the Red Bull probably costs like $2. Okay, so you're very thirsty, and then your marginal benefit from consuming is actually very, very high, and then costs only $2. You buy the Red Bull, you drink it. And then for the second Red Bull, after you're consuming the first Red Bull, you're not that thirsty anymore, but you still like your Red Bull. So you're gonna have a pretty high marginal benefit, but not as high as before. And then compared to your marginal cost, which is still $2, you might buy the second Red Bull. But imagine you keep doing this, and then maybe until your fifth, your sixth Red Bull, you're already consuming too much Red Bull. You're pretty much sick of it. You cannot drink anymore. At that point, you might have a negative marginal benefit. That means by consuming this good, doesn't give you any extra benefit, actually make you worse off. Then why even do it? Okay, so if you have this opportunity to drink 10 Red Bull for 11 free, don't do that. Okay, you're gonna have very low marginal benefit. And also the same with Red Bull. If you drink too much of it at a very short time span, it might kill you because your heart cannot handle it. All right, this. All right, so number 4, people respond to incentive. Now, the biggest shopping holiday we have every year is Black Friday. Black Friday, everybody go to shop. I mean, if you look at many stores, they will open at midnight, or they even earlier, like 11 o'clock on Thursday. Some stores just open then. Okay, so why do we do that? Why does consumer want to shop on Black Fridays? Because we believe price is lower. So why do we behave that way? Because we, as consumers, we respond to incentive. When we see the lower price, we buy it, and that lower price, that's an incentive for consumers. Okay, and then even you guys watching this video here, and then if you participating on my online discussions or online meetings, you also respond to incentive because I offered you guys those extra credits, like 3 points or 2 points on the test. That's an incentive. Okay, so consumers, business will always respond to incentive. All right, and number 5, trade can make everybody better off. So if you watch news closely and you follow politics very closely, it doesn't seem that way because many of our politicians today, they are very much against trade. So even especially President Trump, I mean, he wants to redo NAFTA, and he said trade with other countries like China, Mexico, even Europe is bad for us. Well, that's not the case. In economics, this is a true economic principle. That if you ask any economist, they all believe this, that trade can make everybody better off. So just look at what you're wearing today. I mean, if you look at your shoes, your jeans, your shirt, your t-shirt, where are they from? I doubt if you're wearing anything that's made in America. So most of our stuff, like everyday home good, household good, they're imported from other countries. Now, why do that? Because it's cheaper. It's cheaper for us to buy them from other countries than making them over here. But that's not the case, because 40 years ago, back in 1970s, US, we had the biggest textile industries. Then most of the t-shirt, the good t-shirt, most of the good t-shirt, most of the jeans, most of the shoes, they're made in America. But now, when other countries open up trade, we can buy more stuff from those countries at a lower price. So guys, if you compare your closet today to your parents' closet when they were at your age, you have a much bigger closet. That you have more stuff compared to your parents. And the reason why that is because today we can buy more stuff cheaper. So consumers, we benefit tremendously with trade. And then even business, we're going to learn this in chapter 9 in the book. So even business, when we open up trade, it makes companies more competitive, make countries specialize in what they're good at, and then it gives you more market to export. Now, if you look at the trade, let's say with China, it feels like we're losing the trade war with China because we're buying everything from China. If you go to your local Walmart, local Target, most of the stuff in the store are made in China. But China is also buying stuff from us. Your Ford is selling very good in China. Chevy is selling very good in China. The Chevy Cruze, the little 4-door sedan from Chevy, that was #1 selling car in China for 3 years. And also China is buying a lot of our airplanes. So Boeing is selling many airplanes in China. So this trade is between US and China is a two-way transaction. Then we're buying all the cheap stuff from China. China is buying all the expensive stuff from us. Okay. So don't believe that trade is bad. Trade is good, and we're gonna talk more about this in chapter 9. And then Number 6, market is usually a good way to organize economic activities. We talked about this communist country before, so Russia, North Korea, Cuba, when they're under the communist control, their economy is called a centrally planned economy. The government, they're the central planner. They decide all the questions in the economy. So what to produce, how much to produce, how to produce them, and then for who do you give it to. I mean, that's really the case, because if you look at your history book in the 1980s, so toward the later part of the 1980s in Soviet Russia, the government owns all the company. All the company, all the enterprise, all government owned. So government actually tell each company saying, hey, company this, company that, so you're gonna produce this type of good, and then you're gonna use this type of material, and then this is how many you produce. And once those goods are produced, the government actually issue vouchers to individual consumer. So to buy something in the economy, not only do you need money, you also need a government voucher. That if you don't have a voucher, you cannot buy the good. So that's how the government control all different decision process. Okay, so this is called centrally planned economy. And then for our market economy, this decision process is determined between our buyer and sellers. So between household and firms, they will interact in the economy, and they will decide what the price is and what the quantity is. So two different market structures. Okay. Now, Adam Smith was an economist, very famous economist back in the 1700s. And then Adam Smith coined this term. He called it invisible hand. Now, invisible hand is not some pervert who try to touch you. Invisible hand is the invisible market forces that's pushing the market to a certain direction. So imagine this. Imagine, so iPhone 8 is about to come out, I think later in September. And then many analysts predict the iPhone 8 will cost about $1,000. So imagine this. Imagine that iPhone 8 does come out, and then the price is not $1,000. The price for iPhone 8, it will be $5 each. Now what do we do? Well, you know, if you or me, what I would do, I will go to Apple Store. I will buy 7 iPhone 8. I will use one for each day of the week. So Monday iPhone 8, Tuesday iPhone 8, Wednesday iPhone 8. So we buy more, right? But if everybody all go to the Apple Store, we all buy the iPhone 8, we don't have enough iPhone 8 for everybody. Well, obviously we don't have enough iPhone 8 for everybody to buy 7 of them. So there will be a shortage of iPhone 8. And then when you have a shortage, this will cause the price to go higher. I mean, imagine I want to pay, let's say $5 for iPhone 8. I go to Apple Store, they don't have it. What do? Well, I go to eBay. And I want to go on eBay. The price wouldn't be $5 anymore. The price will be higher than $5. So when the price is too low, the invisible hand will push the price higher back to where it should be. And then vice versa, let's suppose the price is too high. So imagine iPhone 8 come out, and then the price for iPhone 8 will be set at $10,000, so very, very expensive. And then nobody will buy iPhone 8. And now all of a sudden, Apple is stuck with all the iPhone 8 on hand. Nobody wants to buy them. So if you're an Apple store, if you're Apple, what you do? You lower the price, right? So the invisible hand will push the price lower when the price is set too high. So that's what invisible hand is, okay? All right, principle number 7. The government can sometimes improve market outcome. Not always, but in some situations, government can improve market outcome. And then the most important rule for the most important goal for a government or duty for government is to enforce property right. That whatever is yours is yours. Now, let me give you an example. So when U.S. military first invade Iraq, then in Baghdad, many neighborhood was empty. And then CNN went to Baghdad, and then they went to a local neighborhood, and then they saw this store that was, the owner was in the store. The store was closed, but the owner is in the store. And then, I mean, at the time, the neighborhood was empty. So the news people, the journalists, they asked the store owner, says, hey, you know, mister, why are you still here? You know, all your neighbors have already fled. Why you still stay behind? And then the store owner says that I'm afraid that if I leave, when I come back, the store wouldn't be here anymore. Because without government control, without government enforcing this property right, then who can we make sure whose store this is? So at least the one rule for government can do is to enforce property right, that whatever is yours is yours. Okay. All right. So this is part 7. And also, this will be a topic for chapter 10, chapter 11. The government can also correct market failure. So market failure is anytime the market by itself between buyer and sellers fail to come to a socially desired level. The government can sometimes push the market to this socially desired level. So, so one example you can think of is any type of production involve pollution. Then we call this a market failure. So in those cases, the government can step in and then push and then reduce the production level, or at least increase the price for it, and then push the economy back to a more efficient level of production. Okay, all right. Right now, what's a market power, and this is important for our study. So market power is when you have one company, one individual, have a substantial influence on the market price. So in this example here, if you guys think about companies like a monopoly company, that means you're the only company in town, nobody else here competing with you, then you can charge whatever price you want. And that's a market power. Okay, and then market power is not good, market power is bad. So that's why our government always want to reduce market power company have. But if you think about the companies, they always want to have more market power. For number 8, country standard living depends on the ability to produce goods and service. So if you think about it, think about how poor, how rich a country is, then you think about how much money they have. Now, money is not that important. But let me say it again, okay? So money is not that important. So guys, think about it. Money is not that important. We've probably never heard this before, right? This is how you think about it. Suppose I give you $1 million. It's yours, okay? You can look at it, you can touch it, you can even take a selfie with it, but you can never spend it. The money is just there, that doesn't do anything for you. You can never use it. Then what's money good for? Nothing, right? Money is only good when you can actually buy something for it. And then really, if you guys look at how much money each country have, in 2008, the country with the most number of billionaire, by the way, billionaire means that you have at least $1 billion, right? So in 2008, the country with the most number of billionaire, it's a country called Zimbabwe. But Zimbabwe is actually a very poor country. So what happened when everybody become billionaire in Zimbabwe? The price level become very high. So even though you have a lot of money, but the price is very high, then you cannot buy that much stuff. So we don't care about how much money you have. We care about how much stuff you can buy with your money. That's what's important. Okay, so if you look at how rich or how poor a country is, we care about how much stuff you can produce. The more stuff you can produce, the richer the country is, and the vice versa. The less stuff you can produce, the poorer the country is. Now, for this production, it's more than the actual good you're producing. It's also about the service you're providing. So for our U.S. economy is half and half. So half the economy coming from productions, half the economy coming from service industries. Okay. But U.S. We have the biggest economy. So for our country, we have the highest GDP, but we don't have the highest GDP per person. The highest GDP per person would be a country called Qatar. Qatar is a very small country, so not that many people. I think the population is only about 3 million people, and they have a lot of oil. So they're the richest country per person in the world. All right. Number 9, price will rise when government print too much money, and this is exactly what happened in Zimbabwe. So in 2008, the government was unable to pay off its debt. So the government decided, you know what, let's just print more money and pay off our debt. Well, it worked for a while, very, very short time, and then everything broke loose. All hell went loose. Okay, so what happened was that the price level was increasing very dramatically. Imagine if you go to Zimbabwe, let's say in February of 2008, you go to a store, you buy a loaf of bread, it will cost you about 6,000 Zimbabwe dollar. And then 6 months later, in August 2008, you go back to the same store, you buy the same loaf of bread, will cost you about 1.2 billion Zimbabwe dollar. Yeah, imagine you carrying a lot of cash just buy one loaf of bread. Okay, so the reason why, because government print too much money. So it was so bad the government couldn't even keep up. So what the government decided to do, instead of printing more money, they decided to print new money. And then all the new monies, all they did was adding zeros behind it. So imagine your $1 become $10, $100, $1,000, $1 million, $1 billion. So just keep adding zero behind it, and that's why the price level increased so high, and that's why money was worthless in Zimbabwe. But the country was actually pretty safe, because if you go to Zimbabwe back in 2008, if you carry a bag full of money, imagine this. Imagine if you carry a bag full of money in downtown Houston. So you carry a plastic bag with all the cash in it. Go out, work for 5 minutes, see what happens. You'll be robbed. But in Zimbabwe in 2008, if you carry a bag full of money, nobody bothers you because everybody knows that's worthless. Okay, so when government print too much money, price goes up. All right, and then last one, in the short run, society faces a trade-off between inflation and unemployment. So inflation is when price goes up. Unemployment is when people don't have jobs anymore. So this inflation and unemployment, imagine the price goes up. So when the price goes up, at least just a little bit, we're sending a good message to the companies. That we're telling the companies is, hey company, the reason why your price is going up, the reason why the stuff you sell is more expensive now, it's because we like your stuff. That's why the price is increasing. So produce more stuff for us. So when company produce more productions, they need to hire more labor. Therefore, unemployment goes down. Now, vice versa, if the price goes down, that's called deflation. So when you have a deflation, we're actually telling all the companies saying, hey company, the reason why your price is going down, because we don't like your stuff anymore. Stop producing them for us. And then company reduce production, they lay off more people, so unemployment goes up. So between inflation and unemployment in the short run, in the short time span of time, we have an inverse relationship. When inflation goes up, unemployment goes down. When inflation goes down, unemployment goes up. All right, so that's it for this chapter. So the 10 principles of economics. So guys, read over the book. Have any questions, send me an email, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. All right, guys, good luck. I will see you for chapter 2.